Lena had always been drawn to the forgotten corners of the internet, the threads that no one else dared to click, the hidden subreddits and private forums where strange content thrived. That night, with her laptop balanced on her knees, she stumbled across a channel she hadn't seen before, Fragments of Truth. Its interface was bare, the only clickable items were 3 unlisted videos. Curious and unable to resist, she texted Aaron and Juno, her closest friends since middle school, explaining what she had found. They agreed to watch together, their group chat filling with excited emojis and tentative warnings. The first video opened to a shaky shot of a hallway, paint peeling from the walls, with faint light flickering through cracked windows. Lena's stomach churned as her eyes caught movement, a figure in the background, half hidden in shadow, staring directly into the lens. It didn't move, but the feeling of being watched settled in her chest. Aaron leaned closer, whispering that it might be a prank, while Juno's fingers hovered over the mouse, hesitant. The static at the end of the video revealed a single, jagged letter scrawled across the wall, a T. Lena's hands trembled. That wasn't random. Something about the video felt alive, deliberate, and unnervingly directed at them. By the second video, the unease had turned into obsession. Lena, Aaron, and Juno huddled around the laptop at Lena's desk, notebooks open, markers scattered across the surface. The video was longer this time, shot in what appeared to be an abandoned apartment complex. Every so often, a flash of static revealed another letter etched onto the walls, first an R, then an A, and finally a barely visible P. Lena traced her finger along the screen, trying to map out the letters, while Aaron, methodical as ever, wrote them in sequence on a sheet of paper, muttering theories about codes and ciphers. Juno, normally skeptical, couldn't help but flinch when shadows in the video seemed to twitch unnaturally, as if aware of their scrutiny. The letters weren't random, they followed a rhythm, a pattern that aligned with certain seconds in the footage. The realization settled on them slowly and horrifically. Someone, or something, wanted them to piece together a message, and every frame of these videos was bait. Lena could feel a tension coil in her chest, tight and suffocating, as though the air in the room had thickened with every letter revealed. The next morning, Lena's phone buzzed with a notification that made her heart stop. It wasn't from the channel, it was an email, a private message that simply said, "Watch what's next." The link opened to a video filmed in her own neighborhood. Her jaw went slack as her street appeared on screen, eerily empty except for a shadow moving near her backyard fence. Aaron, reading over her shoulder, suggested someone had tracked her, but Juno whispered, voice trembling, that the angle of the camera made it impossible for anyone to have filmed it from a window or a street corner. Lena's pulse raced as the static flickered again, revealing the next letter. Her stomach dropped when she realized that figure in the distance was unnervingly close to her property, watching, patient, unseen. The sense of violation, of being watched in her own life, gnawed at her sanity. That day, every sound, leaves rustling, distant footsteps, the creak of a fence, made her flinch. They couldn't ignore it any longer. The videos weren't content, they were threats. By the fourth video, Lena's nights were sleepless. Each new upload arrived without warning, sometimes via links to private servers, sometimes as emails, sometimes just appearing in her browser history. The letters now slowly spelled the word finish. Each clip grew more invasive, showing locations and angles that shouldn't have been possible. Juno began hearing knocks on her window at odd hours, shadows flickering just beyond her vision. Aaron tried to rationalize it as a hacker with access to security cameras, but even he admitted that some of the footage defied explanation. Every time they stepped outside, they felt watched. Every time they tried to sleep, the fear followed them. Lena noticed their routines had been logged in the videos, each movement, each hesitation, each fear meticulously documented. It was as though the channel wasn't just telling them a story, it was controlling one, guiding them toward some unknown climax, determined to confront whatever force they were dealing with. Lena and Aaron traced the newest video to an abandoned warehouse near the river. The building reeked of mildew, rust, and decay. Each step echoed through the cavernous interior, and every shadow seemed alive, stretching and shrinking as their flashlights cut through the darkness. Juno followed nervously, her hand hovering over her phone, ready to call for help if needed. At the far end, they discovered a door that had not existed in any prior visits to the building. Pushing it open revealed a cramped, hidden chamber, the walls plastered with static streaked monitors, each displaying a live feed of their bedrooms. Lena's blood ran cold. The videos hadn't been recorded, they had been live, real-time surveillance of their lives, and the channel wasn't just telling a story, it had become a living, breathing presence, omnipresent and omniscient. Their fear turned to panic as they realized the scale of what they were facing. Every device they owned was compromised: phones, laptops, tablets. Each screen filled with static, each flicker showing glimpses of the figure. The letters in the videos now flashed rapidly. Now. Lena's hand shook as she tried to block her vision, but there was no escape. Even in her mind, she could hear the presence, a low whisper curling around her thoughts: "We see you." Shadows moved in impossible ways, following them, stalking them, taunting them. The warehouse itself seemed to breathe, corridors twisting and stretching as if alive, and the trio realized they were trapped in a reality that had been scripted by someone, or something, that knew them intimately. The final video arrived at midnight. Lena, Aaron, and Juno froze before their screens. Unlike previous clips, this one was shot from their own perspectives, every room, every breath, every terrified glance recorded and replayed as if the channel had taken control of their very senses. The letters on the wall spelled one final message: the lone. Their phones went dark. The monitors in the warehouse turned to black, leaving only the echo of distorted laughter in the room. Outside, the wind carried whispers that weren't quite human. Lena's pulse felt synchronized with the faint thump of her own heartbeat, amplified to unbearable levels. They left the building without looking back, but each shadow that flickered at the edges of their vision, each creak in the night, reminded them that the channel hadn't ended. It wasn't over. It had only begun, and the message, like the figure, followed them, patient, inevitable, and hidden in every corner of their lives.